Hello, welcome to Monal FS Academy. In today's video, I want to teach us how I'm able to beat drawdown in my trades. I would have done some series on this on my funded account before now on this. How I passed the uh the prop firm phase one, phase two, now funded with about $6,000 account. I've been on that account for some time, but I deem it fit to start showing what I do with that account. I would have started it long ago, but let's see how it goes. I want to share some of my rules and experience on how I beat drawdown. Currently, I'm in drawdown in this particular funded account. And whenever I'm in a trade, whenever I'm executing my trade or trying to manage my accounts, I always believe this. I used to talk to myself. I say positive things to myself before the trading week begins. Sometimes I say things like, I'm going to make a lot of money this week. Ah, even there's any reason for loss, I'm going to make money. I'm going to bounce back. I say positive things like, uh, it's not possible for you to blow an account. I talk to myself. That does not mean there will be no losses. That does not mean there will be no drawdown. But I say positive things to myself that I cannot blow an account. It's not overconfidence. Sometimes, in some cases, when I started this journey, I blew a lot of accounts. But with experience and time, I got matured in the system. Most time, I don't even trade under pressures any longer. I always know you either win a trade or you lose a trade. I'm okay with that. That consciousness has already registered within me. I want to share some of those things with us. Before I go into my chart and tell you some things, I want us to reason together. Follow me on this platform. Let's share our ideas. In this platform, I say things the way they are. I'm playing to you because many persons online come not just to sell courses to you, they always want to prove to you why they are making profit. Majority of the time, they will not share their losses with you. They have their reasons. But in this channel, I will show you the good time and the bad time. In this video, this is one of the bad time. I had some drawdown in my funded account. But I want you to know this. You listening to me at this moment. It does not matter how many prop firms you have gone for, how many prop firms accounts you have lost. You have tried so hard and you still keep losing those accounts. In fact, most cases you don't even pass phase one, let alone passing phase two, and thereby being funded. No, being funded is a complete different ball game. In fact, it's even more painful for you to pass a phase one, a phase two, and finally being funded and not even have a withdrawal. Is there's nothing as painful, there's nothing as painful as that. That's why I want to share some of my experience, what I do. And I want you to understand that most time it's difficult to trade some of these funded accounts when you trade your personal account. It does not matter how long or the number of losses I had in a row. My my trading style and risk reward or my whatever. Most of the time I'm right, sometimes 50%, 60%, sometimes 70% of the time. And the worst part of it, the most, let me say, sometimes once in a while, 45%, it fluctuates. I cannot really tell you that I have a 85% win rate, I have 70% win rate. I only know what works for me, and risk management also helps me. My style of trading also helped me because when I'm not seeing 1:3 in a trade, I don't take such a trade, and I risk few percentage of my account. So trading the prop firm or a funded account is more complex, more difficult than trading your personal account. Uh, the last time I blown an account was about getting to 2 years ago into my journey. And that's why I always tell my mentees and those that follow me online, it's not about having a huge account. How capable, how experienced are you trading the forex market? I started with trying to make 10%, 20% to double my account. I started with an $100 account. And within the shortest of time, I was able to increase it to about getting to about $400. That is about 400% of that account. And that is what I want you to do. Even when you have a lot of money, you don't just rush and because you have a lot of money, you start risking a lot of your account. So I told myself, if I can increase $100 into about $400 within 2 months, 3 months, I was not just looking at the number of months or trying to increase it in 1 month. I was like, if I have a huge account, you can imagine increasing that account by 400%. Just imagine that. And that is why when you're opportune to have a bigger account, you trade it the same way. Now let's come back home to a profit because this is a funded account. Their rules are very tight. They have strict rules. And imagine when you lost 8% of that account, 9%, 10%, they take that account from you. And sometimes in forex trading, there are some weeks you might be having some wins, maybe within first month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, everything was working fine. Your strategy, everything is okay. You have made a lot of money. But just this new week, you just imagine seeing yourself having 5 losses, 6 losses, 7 losses in a row. And we're like, what happened to my strategy? What happened to my trading rules? And now you are trading a funded account that has a very strict rule. How do you go about it? That is why I have to share this video with you. Share what I do when I'm in a drawdown. It does not mean that your strategy is bad. It does not mean that your strategy is wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the market. You cannot have all the time making money, 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 money. Sometimes they are drawdowns. You having 8 losses in a row, like what happened to me of recently, which is unusual. I had almost about 7 losses in a row. In some of these cases, what I do, I just give the market a break. I just excuse myself, try to figure it out. And most of the time I discovered there was nothing wrong with my strategy. It's just, to me, I just conclude that maybe the market wasn't favorable to me. And currently, I'm in a trade on my funded account. I've had some drawdowns and I'm still maintaining that trade. I want to see how it goes. Also, before I take us to the chart, let me explain briefly what I do when I'm in a drawdown. In most of my accounts, I do risk 1%. Like in my Fordent account, I risk 1%. And this is a $6,000 account. The 1% of that $6,000 account is about 600, is about $60. When I'm in profit, I keep risking $60. I keep risking $60. And most importantly, my rules, my trading plan does not allow me to open more than two trades running. What I mean is, two trades can keep running at the same time, but I can't open more than two trades, just like having like about three, four trades running at the same time. It might be different pairs. My trading plan does not allow it. Even when I'm in profit, that is what I do. In a case when I'm in a serious, I use the word serious drawdown. First of all, in the first two trades were $60, $60. I had a loss. I had a loss. By third trade, I'm going to execute or by pending orders. What I do, I risk half of 1%, which is about 0.5%. I will no longer be risking $60. I will start risking $30 for a trade. But as the drawdown continues, sometimes I reduce it to the point I even start risking $15, $20 at this point. Now, what is the whole idea about this? At this point, I'm not thinking about what I want to make from the market. All I'm thinking about is how to bounce back to that original $66,000 of that account. To me, it doesn't matter how long. That is why in forex trading, patience is the key. Patience is what keeps you going. Then you not start talking about being consistent in your forex journey. I want to show us about one or two of the trades I took this week, though those trades are still running. Remember, my style of trading, I do more of day trading and I also swing trade depending on what the market presents to me. And sometimes I keep my trades running even during the close of the trading week. If my TP has not, I've not meet my TP or the market has not taken me out, I just leave the trade waiting to see the outcome. So I want to show us in the chart what I did and how I was able to execute my trades. So I will take us to the chart, and this is my USD card. With what I just showed us on my phone, I have two trades running. One is on what I showed us on my phone. I closed this week with two trades, two open trades that are still running. And one is USD CHF and USD card. In USD card, I'm in minus. For now, USD CHF is in plus. And you know what it means. I want to show us what I saw and what made me to take those trades. Don't forget, at this time, I'm trying to bounce back from drawdown, and I've showed us what I'm trying to do. Now, let's go to the chart. This is what I saw. I moved down to weekly. I've already marked my key zones. I've marked my key zones. I have marked my key zones. This I mark my key zones. When price came to this area, there was a reaction. A reaction. When price finally came to this area, I believe there should be a reaction. This is the weekly uh, candle. For me, what I'm looking is sell, sell, because with what weekly time frame is giving me is more of what sell. This is a very key zone. Can you see? Look at this key zone. It was tested in the past. Finally, it came to this point. It broke through this key zone, this weekly zone, came all the way down here. Finally, came back into this zone. So I'm expecting price to get from this zone, move all the way down. That is my own interpretation of the chart. After that, I now scale down to the daily time frame to get a closer picture of it. Can you see that? This is what daily time frame gives me. Let me just remove this. Let me just remove it. I don't need all this. Like as I said, you have to keep your chart very neat. Now, this is the key zone from the weekly time frame. I'm not in this trade. I missed this trade. This trade, I missed this trade. I mean this entry. This entry, I missed it. So my target is this. Is this trade that is running at the moment. Let's get to the 4 hours. Good. You can see all. You look at the 4 hours, it's like seeing a shoulder. Can you see a shoulder? This is one of the shoulder. This is the edge. And it's like another shoulder is forming at this point. But in the real sense, why I took this trade, I was supposed to wait for this trade to break the trend line. This is the neckline. To break this neckline, then have a pullback. And you can see that's what I did here. Have a pullback. Then finally come back into this neckline to take my first entry. But what gave me the courage to take this entry was because of what the weekly time frame showed me. What I could analyze from the weekly time frame is I'm seeing more of sell, a stronger sell from the weekly time frame. And then this is a very key weekly zone. This green area of my chart is from the weekly. It's a very key zone. So what I did, I felt, let me risk it. But I will make sure that my stop loss should be above this area or this zone, or above the head of the two shoulders. This is one of the shoulder, and who knows, this might be the next shoulder before it finally pulls down. That is number one reason why I took this trade. I risked it and I felt it's a calculated risk. And don't forget, I'm in a drawdown. I try to risk little of my account because one is not my style, my complete style of trading. My style of trading is the high of the low of the current structure. then execute first entry in a fib level. That is what I do. So in all that I have said, there's nothing like fib. I didn't use my Fibonacci tool. I didn't use my Fibonacci tool. Can you see? So it was not in use. You can see these lines I just put here. I use it to do my analysis. I was expecting to take my entry from here. This is supposed to be my entry, supposed to come around this area. I don't know, it may be exact this area, but most importantly, a fib area. That is what I do. So let's see how it goes. If this trade goes in my direction, pulls all the way down, then I will wait for a pullback into a fib level. A fib level. When I mean a fib level, maybe pull down like this, something like this, good. To take my second entry and take it all the way, to take my second entry all the way down. That's what I would have done. So let's see how this new week is going to play out. If this trade goes in my favor, breaks this neckline, I'll wait for a pullback into my fib area for me to take a second entry. For now, let's take it out. At this moment, this trade is currently running. Let's see the outcome. Next week, I will come back to give us the outcome of this trade. The next trade I looked at was USD CHF. This is USD CHF. Let's see what happens in the weekly time frame. To me, what I can see in the weekly time frame is still a sell for USD CHF. Look, this zone, this key zone has been maintained for a very long time. If I'm to clone it, look at this. Look at this. Within this area has been maintained. It came to this area, it dropped. It came to this zone, it dropped. It came to this zone, it dropped, and finally breaks through this zone. For me, what do I look out for? Then I finally conclude that whatever I should be doing with USD CHF should be a sell, and I'm expecting it to move all the way down. But in my weekly time frame, I only look at key zones. Let's move to the daily time frame. You can see. Look at the daily time frame. Can you see that? I mark, this is the recent high, and this is the recent what? Initially, this was the current high and the current low. It pulls down, pulls up. Now this should be the current high. So we are expecting USD CHF to break this current low. So what do? I start capitalizing on this area to see how I will take some entries and take my profits around this zone. That is for the daily time frame. Let's move to the 4 hours. Now, 4 hours has given us a clearer picture. Don't forget, this is now the current high, and this is now the current low. So we are expecting to take our entries and take profit in this current low. So this is what I do. This is the trade that is running at the moment. Immediately, this area, this zone was broken. What happened? It broke out here. It broke through this zone and later what pulls up. It breaks through this zone again up to this area and finally does what? Came up. So what I do, I put in my pending orders. So currently, this trade is running in my own personal account. But for my funded account, I'm in a serious drawdown. I look for quality setup. There are some risks I can just take and overlook in my own personal account. But when it comes to my funded account, I just have to be very careful. I have to look for good setup, for A plus setup, because their rules are very, very tight. And as I said, there's nothing as painful as passing your phase one, your phase two. Now you are funded and you cannot have a withdrawal from that account. Now, this is the trade that I took. What did I now do for my funded account? I look at it. To me, this is the current high and current low of the minor structure. Don't forget, can you see? I'm seeing a fib. This is my 50% Fibonacci level, and this up area is my 61.8 Fibonacci level. Those that have been following me will understand my trading pattern. I take my entries in between 50 fib and 61.8% fib. So I took my entries in between. So this trade is the trade that is currently running at the moment. So I'm in profit for this in this trade. I'm in prof. I mean, the trade is still running. As I said, until you closes that trade, that money is not yours. So it's still a running trade. By next week, we'll come back and share the outcome of it. Don't forget, this is the current high for a major structure. Let me go to the daily time frame so that you can see it clearly. Can you see it? Can you see? This is the current high of the major structure, and this area here is the current low of the structure. So where I took my entry, you cannot see it clearly in this area. It's in the minor structure, and minor structure, they are in the major structure. We can only get a clearer view of it when we now move down to 4 hours. So this is now my current high. This is now my current low of the minor structure in a major structure. That is where I took my entry from the fifth level. So I'm hoping to take profit at this level, and if possible, I might risk it if I'm not seeing multiple 4 hours consolidation. Sometimes 4 hours will be too risky. When I begin to see a lot of consolidation in the 30 minutes, time frame, I will finally close the trade, because my target in the first place is to take profit in this area. But the bigger picture of it is for me to take profit, to take profit, to take profit in this area. Though, let's see how it goes. That is what I have to say or to tell us today. And as I said, in Shenemona FS Academy, we keep it plain, we keep it simple. Don't fail to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content so that we can have a follow-up of how I trade my funded account. Who knows? You might learn one or two that may help your trading journey.